What's up, Misfits? Maverick here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got our first video in a series on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to start out the series with 5 beginner tips in 5 minutes. It doesn't matter if this is your first Assassin's Creed game, you're a seasoned series vet, or this is your first trip back to the Animus since the days of Ezio. You'll find something useful here. Valhalla feels like a fresh take on the series, but there are a couple of tips going in that will make your experience smoother. So let's jump into it. First up is the Raid Power Guide. I get it. You're a Viking, with Odin's blood flowing through your veins, and raiding isn't a hobby, it's a way of life. Valhalla, though, isn't the Assassin's Creed of old. You can't just parry and block your way out of fights with enemies vastly more powerful than yourself. When you're planning a raid, double check the recommended power rating in the bottom right hand corner on your map. These aren't mild suggestions like the best buy date on a package of Oreos. If you venture into the wrong hostile territory, you're likely to get dropped with a single blow. But how do you know what your power rating is, Maverick? I'm glad you asked. You can check your power rating under the Skills tab in your menu, which leads us to tip number 2. Skills upgrading. I know this jumbled bunch of Nordic constellations would even have Neil deGrasse Tyson on edge, but take a deep breath and calm your anxiety. The skill system has 3 meta classes: Stealth, Range,
That's clear enough for sure. If my head was in a bucket of water, I'd
and Melee. What you'll find when you look through each point is that a lot of the minor skills are very similar. Just because you choose a range build doesn't mean there aren't any points for upgrading light melee damage or stealth. Make a mistake? Good news, these aren't permanent. You can reset all of your skills by following the prompt in the lower right corner depending on what input you're using. Accidentally misplace a single point? That's okay too. Hover over it and reset that individual node. The point of tip 2 is to upgrade. Don't be paranoid one mistake will ruin your chances of reaching Odin's side after Ragnarok. Try out the build that feels best for you and fix anything that doesn't work for your playstyle. Speaking of playstyle, your style is going to be influenced heavily by your gear, and Valhalla isn't throwing loot around like burst weapons in Fortnite. Think of the gear experience more like watching Tim the Tatman play Fall Guys. It's rare to get the crown, but man is it rewarding when it happens. Valhalla wants you to spend more time focused on improving the items you have found by upgrading them with the local blacksmith. You can increase its damage output or even upgrade to add rune spots for extra abilities. Oh, and similar to the skills upgrading, I've yet to find a rune that once placed in gear is bound to it, so don't worry you're stuck with the weapon build, unless the game tells you so. Did I mention gear was elusive? One of the things that should help you when you're sacking a town or searching some Roman ruins is liberally using Odin's Sight. This will ping items of interest around you. You'll receive an audio cue of something you can interact with is pinged. Sure, 80% of the time it'll be wayward arrows, but it's worth it when you find something. Bonus tip, elements of the environment are breakable, but it's not as obvious as the previous games. Your first instinct when you get frustrated that you can't get that shiny gold spot underground should be to look for a well covered in fading wood or a door with no handle, even a patchwork lattice in someone's backyard. They're harder to spot than I thought they'd be, but they're breakable and the loot is typically worth it. My last tip for you is a quality of life tip. Whether you're taking your water horse across the treacherous rivers of England or you're riding your land horse, your next synchronization point, use the auto guidance feature. You can place a marker on your map, tell your mount to first follow the road or follow the river, and then tell it to head to your marker. This will make it automatically travel to your intended spot. That gives you a chance to hit the head, grab a drink, tell your girlfriend you'll be available in 2 weeks after you unlock the entire skill tree, whatever it might be. It's nice to still be accomplishing something in-game while you tend to, brushing the crumbs out of your gaming chair. There you have it, guys. That's 5 beginner tips for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to have a lot of Valhalla content coming your way over the next couple of weeks, so make sure you're subscribed. Next up is a beginner's combat guide, so keep an eye out for that. If this was your first time visiting the Misfit clan, thank you for stopping by, and to all my other Misfits out there, take care.